It was around 5 years ago, I think, that a very special person walked into our studios. His name is Arno Geller from Germany, from Wuppertal. And he said, I'm the chairman of Kantorei Berman of a choir, and we have on our repertoire Mateos Pacion. And I've managed to get Bayer Kultur to help us to produce a full production of Mateos Pacion, where if you will agree to do the ballet, it will be a real musical production with dance, a realization of Bach's mythical piece. And at that moment, I think I didn't really realize what a big chore it was to take such a work and make a ballet out of it, when I'm actually a choreographer of contemporary dance, and to be able, as a Jew, to relate to a piece who has so many Christian emblems in it, and actually is so significant in maybe mounting years and decades, hundreds of years of hatred between Christians and Jews. So Arno came to me and said, I would like this to be a bridge between nations. And for a couple of years, I really struggled with the idea how to make that happen. Eventually, I think, after having sleepless nights for endless days and endless days of hard work, I came to the idea that each of us is a Jesus, and Jesus is an emblem of a person who people are looking up to for salvation, but he is actually maybe the Jew. We're not sure who is the victim in the story of Christianity if you really read into it, whether this is really Jesus or maybe this is Judas, because he was made the victim of the whole story by blaming him for the whole downfall of the world. So I think playing with this quest for double identity is what motivated the work, and also that realization that really the word is always very much at the edge, and everyone is so frustrated, and we would have liked to have a martyr, someone to come and offer us comfort, and this comfort shouldn't be depending on hatred at all. And Eldar is actually performing the role of Jesus in the piece, and all the time that when I've worked with him, I asked him not to be really down to the narration of it, that he has to dance as a human being, but he has to bring some sort of serenity and some sort of calmness into that role that will make people believe in him. He has to be transferred on stage into everyone's private God. And maybe Eldar, tell me whether you think it works for you eventually.
Well, first of all, I have to say, obviously, it's an experience that I don't think I had before, and I don't think I will have again, because as Tamir said, the piece is so monumental as a piece, as a show, that we did it in the premiere with 120 musicians and singers and all the company, and after this work process that was so deep and for me specifically, I feel because of that role, I had to really find new things within me. I remember that Tamir worked with me a lot in personal rehearsals, and we talked about a lot about the images and about what I should portray as Jesus, and it had the whole diversity from being the God and being the humble one, and like the whole range. I had to go through and look for it, and I remember with myself, I don't think Tamir, I shared it with him ever, but I had a lot of struggling moments and a lot of hard times in the process, because I couldn't feel I could live up to the expectation. And eventually, I hope and I think that I managed to bring what Tamir wanted in that role, to have all of this, the way that you, as Jesus, treating your fellow friends, but you have to kind of be that person and be that figure it was very, very hard for me, and I think was one of the biggest challenges I had in my career.
Actually, when I look at Eldar doing the piece on stage, I'm very happy with the result, because I think that what makes Jesus as a Messiah work for us to believe in, and nowadays when you look at the Mateos Pacion, the way that I choreographed it, then it's actually not being grand, but actually being one of the people, being the humble one, being the friend of everyone. And I wanted to share this idea with you, Eldar. You know, on the one hand, when I see this piece performed with 120 musicians, which we still do occasionally in Europe, then I feel that it's really empowered with a lot of excessive monumental strength. But on the other hand, when I see the times when we perform it with a recorded soundtrack, sometimes for the dance itself, or contemporary dance, it has an added value in the intimacy that it produces on stage. And I'm not sure which of the editions I prefer. Do you have a preferred one?
I think it's a very different. I can totally understand this dilemma. Preferred one? I don't have a preferred one. I prefer to do it all the time with musicians and with recorded music. But I think it's this difference between the intimacy and kind of extravaganza of a show. I actually would go with the intimate one.
Yeah,
personally.
I think for at any event, each of the versions is not even a dance performance. Even if you do the choreography by itself, it makes the sensation of an event, and this is what I was trying to make, that the audience is actually coming to an event, and I hope that people are really going to experience it soon enough.